Okay, back to, I'm now doing the screen recording for setting up a web page. We have our master folder right here called Prague Website 2. I open this here up. These originals, there's all my original pictures. You have to have your site organized like this. There's a subfolder called Photos, and there's a subfolder called Graphics. The difference of these two is this one's for photos only. This one's for the other graphics we make, mainly our banners and our navigation bar. In here, in graphics, we did make a master banner PSD. And then because we wanted a slightly different text in one of the text boxes on the 4 banners, we edited that one text box and did a save as. And for each save as, we named it banner home, banner P2 for page 2, banner P3 for page 3, and banner links. And we made them all PNG files. We selected the PNG format for the web. The navigation bar, we have the PSD file. And then we needed a version for the web, so we saved a PNG of the nav bar too. Now with that, let's see, with screen recording here, I'm going to set up Dreamweaver now. So I'm going to Dreamweaver here on the, okay, that there was open. So I'm going to pretend that I click through the various splash screens or what have you. I'm going to go to File and go to New. You're going to end up at this or a very similar page. The default is HTML. That's what we're going to leave it in. And I'm going to name this here index.html. And a good practice nowadays when you're naming web pages is to have them be lowercase. But if you accidentally do part of it uppercase, it's not really that big of a deal right now. It's HTML5. I click Create. It brings up a blank white background. Okay, now your properties, we're going to be using this here a lot. If this is not out or easily accessible, go to Window menu and make sure Properties is selected. Okay, now for this first page here, I'm going to insert a table. So I'm going to go to File. Actually, I'm going to save it first. I'm going to go to File and Save. That other thing we did with naming wasn't actually saving it. Okay, I'm going to name it index.html. And I'm going to click on, I'm going to put it in the Prague website, but it's going to be out in the open. Whenever I say out in the open, I don't mean outside the master folder. I mean in the master folder, but not in a subfolder. So I'm going to hit Save. That's our index.html. That's my home page. Now to start our layout with our banner and our navigation bar, we need to go to Insert, go to Table, and that's going to bring up a table dialog box. Table method is an older method of web design, but still not a bad one to know how it works. So we're making a fairly simple 4-page site about Prague in it. And it does work, even though it's a little bit older style way of doing things. Okay, so for the table dialog box, we want a 2x2 table, 900 pixels wide, border 0, cell padding 1, cell spacing 1, click OK. Okay, now you have a 2x2 table. Pull down the handle, and every now and then, if the middle handle doesn't pull, just try the other one. Sometimes you gotta go a little wider or back and forth to get it to work. Gets a little quirky at times. Okay, now I'm gonna first drag this up to there. I'm gonna drag this here over to there. And then I'm gonna drag this here back down. Now if you go drag something down and it doesn't, try one of the other handles. Okay, so now I dragged that down probably more than I needed to. But either way, I now have a 2x2 table, 2 columns by 2 rows. I dragged these lines so it's starting to look kind of like a web layout. Now up here, as you may notice in the banner area, we have 2 cells. We want to merge those cells. How do you do that? We drag across the two cells like that. They both highlight. We go down here under Properties, go under Row, and then the button underneath that will merge selected cells. You have to select them by dragging across both of them. Now I'm going to click that. That merges cells. Now the next thing is we now have three big cells in here. We have the one for the banner, the one for the navigation bar, and another one for maybe other content. Click in each and go to this thing called vertical top. So you go to vertical right here on the properties and change it to top. Do the same thing in the other two cells. So you click in the cell. When you first click in it, the cursor doesn't appear at the top. Okay, so I'm going to do vertical top for each of these. Why am I doing that? What are we doing here? What we're doing is we're putting it so when we put our cursor in there, the cursor appears at the top instead of in the middle. That's why we did vertical top on all three of them. Okay, now to put in our banner. Click your cursor in the top here where the banner's going to go. Okay, if you have not saved this yet, go ahead and do a save on your... Mine's already saved. Okay, so I click up here in the banner area. I go to Insert. I go to Image. I go in my Graphics folder. I don't go to the PSD file. I don't want that. I want bannerhome.png. There it is. Now we're going to use that for our width. Now if it made your table go a little bit wide, you can drag it in a little tighter. We're going to use this for our width also. Click down here in the tour announcement below that. This is where the navigation bar goes. Go to Insert, Image. And even if it's incomplete, go into your desktop. Look around for navigation. Okay, I'm in my Prague website here. I'm in graphics, and I'm going to put up the navbar PNG. Now, navbar, N-A-V-B-A-R, is pretty much a standard way of referring to the navigation bar when you're making files and laying out your web pages. Now, you can here see... here's the line. Now, I usually do not put it right up against there. And the reason for that is simple. I want to allow a little bit of space before any pictures or other things start. Now, I might leave that for now, but I could also move it over a little bit. I usually do about the same thing with the top, but I don't want that one to come down some because you get a white gap above your banner. Okay? Which brings me to, we have not done one of our colors yet. So I'm going to wrap this up as far as my screen recording. This here was just putting in the basic table to get started. Actually, I'll leave the screen record on for the color. Okay, I have to pick a background color. And I misplaced my sheet here. So I'm going to, if I find it, I'll change it. I can always change it. But I know I want kind of a beige tan background. How do you do that? So this is for everybody right now. Okay, I know everybody didn't do your background color yet. Okay, so we picked our colors for here. Now with this properties here open, okay, I got properties open. I'm going to deselect anything. Here's the thing is the property is going to change depending on where your cursor is. Like, are you clicking something? Are you doing something? Do you have something selected? So I purposely deselected anything else. If anything, I'm going to click on, yeah, I deselected everything else. You got two options here in the properties, HTML and CSS. Right now we're in HTML, so leave that selected. Go over here to page properties. See this button right here? Okay, you can also find it in Dreamweaver. Yeah, Dreamweaver they got somewhere here. Well, either way, click on page properties, and we're going to do some settings here. The page font, you can pull this down and select whatever font family you want. I'll talk about that another time. Okay, so after you pick your font, picking fonts is a little bit different. You're actually picking font families. I'll talk more about that later. Pick a default size of 12. First do your background color. If you got the number from your sheet, get it off of there. I'm going to do like a really light tan. Okay, I'll change it later if I have to. Then pick a text color that goes good with your background color. So if you have a light background color, pick a darker color here or vice versa. Okay, we're almost done here on the page properties. Go under margins here and put 20 for each of the 4. So you can click in each box, left, right, top, and bottom, and put in a 20. When you put 20 in, you're going to make it pixels. So put in 20 pixels, then hit OK. So now I have okay, I'll go back to that in just a second. You click on page properties here, and you put it down here where it says margins. Okay, I'm gonna put on all left, right, top, and bottom. I'm gonna turn off my screen recorder.